everybody, this is City Scrapper. I'm so glad you could join me today for day 3 of Scraptember and Christy's Beautiful Life 30 Days of Sketches. The Scraptember prompt for today is layering, and I am not sure if you can follow this sketch and not have some layering, so I think it's perfect the way the Scraptember prompt was matched so well with this particular sketch. Today I'm making a Halloween layout. If you've watched my channel and you've heard this before, I'm sorry for repeating myself, but if you haven't, my family goes to Salem, Massachusetts quite frequently in October, and I have quite a few Halloween-related photos to scrapbook. So today I am scrapbooking a photo of both of my daughters with Frankenstein, and I'm using my all-time favorite Halloween collection, which is Eerie, and that was a basic gray collection. And it's very old and I use it all the time, so I have definitely made a dent in it, but I am being very good about not hoarding it. I'm using some circles that I made using my Creative Memories large circle cutter, and I have taken 2 pieces of basic gray paper. The black one that is right behind the circles, that has some really nice purple areas that I just love. I love the look of that paper. And then behind that, there's an orange paper that has cats and bats on it. And of course, I gutted the orange pattern paper so that I didn't waste it. I also put a piece of black cardstock behind the black pattern paper just to add another little layer there. So I took a whole bunch of scraps that I had in my envelope that I keep this collection in, and I inked the edges. And I'm laying them out on the circles, and I keep referring to the sketch just to try to make my layout match what's on the sketch. And I'm trying to figure out how I should go about arranging all of these patterns. Of course, I'm trying to think of putting different colors next to each other, and then different size prints, smaller prints next to larger prints. And I just want to make sure that there's contrast between all of the different strips of paper. And I inked the edges of all of these strips of paper with some Distress Oxide in black soot. I'm going to be using my T-square quite a bit just to make sure that I don't have all of these strips of paper on an angle. And it definitely would have been a good idea to decide this before I inked the edges and arranged them, but then I decided that I wanted to distress all of these strips. Lately, I've been using my scissors to distress edges rather than using a distress tool that I have. And I don't show all the footage, but I am distressing the edges, then I'm cutting each of these strips down to the right size, and then I'm using ATG adhesive to attach them down. And I do a lot of rearranging as I go along, because as I go along, I'm changing my mind about which colors look good next to each other. And I've mixed in a couple of really thin strips, and I thought it would be interesting to have some variations in the width of the strips. So now everything is finally attached down, and I'm going back in and I'm putting some extra distress in with my fingers. I really like the idea of this looking very ragged and ultra distressed. So the best way to do that is to just get right in there and start bending and slightly ripping the papers. Now I'm taking my photo and I am digging into my foam stash, looking for little bits that I could use up. I have used up some, you could see there are quite a few little scraps that I had in my drawer. I'm putting some ATG adhesive on that foam, and I'm sorry about the glare on the photo. And then I am going back and doing yet more distressing to those layers. I wanted to put some kind of embellishment on the circles, so I started out with some black embellishments. I got these at Michael's a couple of years ago at Halloween time, and these are all different size jewels that are all black. So I'm picking out the jewels that are on the smaller side, and I'm scattering them around those 2 circles. And I missed the day when Michael's had tons and tons of paper crafting supplies at Halloween time. I don't know if that's going to come back again, but I really love shopping for Halloween scrapbooking stuff, so I was a little sad when I saw in the next few years after I bought these that they kind of cut back on their Halloween offerings. These are also of Recollections brand jewel. These are some scrolls, and you could see here that's what the whole sheet looks like. and I just cut them into pieces depending on where I want to put them on my layout. So I put one scroll on either side. And I don't know if you've ever worked with Prima brand. They make some scrolls that are like this, and they're amazing. These are a little harder to work with because the plastic on the back of them is a little flimsy, but I was able to manipulate it and get it to sit on the page correctly. Took a little bit of time though. The gold and black stickers that I'm adding right now, those are also Recollections brand. They say monster, scare, afraid, and beware, and I thought that all those sayings went really well with the photo. In the sketch, the title is in the lower left-hand corner, so I thought that I would put my title there, and I'm going to call this Frightful. This is from a Thickers pack of Halloween titles that I got at Tuesday morning a while back, and so I thought that this would be perfect for this photo. In my stash, I found this Halloween-themed acetate overlay. It has some black detailing along the edge, so I put a little bit of ATG adhesive in some of the areas that are already black, and that way you won't see the adhesive from the front. And I'm also adding some photo corners, and that will also prevent you from being able to see the adhesive that's behind the overlay. Then I added the exclamation point to the end of Frightful, and I am picking a few more of those jewels off of the jewel sheet, and I'm arranging them around, trying to work them in with the title. Now I'm attaching down the photo corners. I'm using some ATG adhesive. To make the photo corners, I use an EK Success scalloped photo corner punch, and I use that a lot on my layouts. I just love the little effects that adds. It looks like a little finishing touch to me. And then I decided that there was too much of this black jewel on the page. I have those two scrolls in the opposite corners, and I just felt like it was too much of the same. So then I went into my stash and I pulled out some purple pearls. And I'm not only using different sizes of the purple pearls, I'm also using two different colors. One was more of a bluish purple and the other is more of a reddish purple. I also thought that using a very small pearl on each of the photo corners would add a nice finishing touch. So I'm just going around and putting those pearls where I had the black pearls. Then I was thinking that, well, the purple pearls look really good, so let me add some orange and green ones too. But what ended up happening was I felt that even though I feel like it doesn't look bad here, I just felt that it was just too confusing for the eye. There were all these pattern papers that are all different patterns and all different colors, and then to have the circles with all different colors on it too, I just thought that it was a little too much. So I ended up deciding that I was just going to use the purple pearls. So I take all those green and orange pearls off, put them back on their sheets, and then replace them with some more purple. Each year that we've gone to Salem, we found that there are quite a few characters that line the streets. Some of them are the same each year, and some of them are brand new. And you can take your picture with them if you want to, or you could just pass by. Some are a little more scary, and some are just fun. There is an Addams Family, and they do a great job with their costumes. And I think that Frankenstein is there, or at least has been there the years that we've been there. I hope that that continues in the future. So I am adding a few more embellishments that I have in my stash. I add 2 insects. I add a skull. There's this title that says Happy Halloween. And I'm inking the edges of all of these pieces of ephemera that I add so that everything will be cohesive. The skull had a border on it that was fine with me, but it was just a little bit too big. So I didn't cut the border off. I just cut it back a little bit and inked the edge and then glued that down. I wanted to pop up this speech bubble that says super scary. Some of the items I'm just attaching right down to the page, and a couple of others I'm using some foam to pop them up. I really like the jack-o'-lantern with the little owl sitting on top of it. That's on the right-hand side. I'm also putting a bat next to the word frightful, and I thought that I would pop the bat up. I feel that flying things should always be popped up. So I'm putting some ATG adhesive and tucking that next to frightful. And now I'm not sure what to do next, so I thought, let me just rough up the edges of this black pattern paper a little bit more. So I go around and do that, make it look a little more tattered and worn. Then I decided that in my layout, the word frightful would fit better in this upper right-hand corner. It just seemed that that corner didn't have anything in it. It was kind of calling out for something. So I decided that I was going to switch the title. And luckily, these are foam thickers, which are very easy to move around, and they still retain their stickiness. If you've ever used them, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. They are definitely the more sticky of the thickers choices. I felt that the layout was almost done, but underneath the photo looked a little bit empty to me, so I thought that I would put a little something under there. And I decided on a piece of ripped paper. I just took a piece of purple pattern paper and I ripped it till it was the correct size and put some ATG adhesive, and I'm just making it pop out a little bit. I just want a little hint of something underneath the photo. I was thinking that I wanted to add some splatters, and I decided on gold. This is Hedi Swapp Color Shine, and I thought that this was a good color because there were already quite a few gold elements that were on the page, and I thought that a few little splatters would look nice on the background. So I just add the splatters in 2 spots, and that completes the layout. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Please take a look in the description box. You'll see the links to all of the other channels. Christy's Beautiful Life has links to all of the videos from today. I hope that you enjoyed this, and I hope that you will join me again tomorrow for another day of Scraptember and 30 Days of Sketches. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.